Kenya has received the green light to resume mango exports to the European Union. This follows the Belgium visit by a delegation of government, regulatory agencies and private sector in the horticulture industry at Brussels last week. The team met and discussed with counterparts from the EU and the private sector equivalents on possible resumption of mango exports to the European Union after a self-ban of 7 years. Senior Research Analyst at Financial Derivatives Company Limited, Nosike Nwajide, joins us now to discuss further. Nosike, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. Kick off with Kenya and mangoes. What do you make of the self-imposed ban by Kenya for this long, leading up until this point?
Turns out bans are better self-imposed than on the other side with the hammers brought down. I mean, you protect the market by doing that. In 2013, they went to Europeans and said, okay, you have these standards. We are unable to meet the standards due to certain circumstances. When we do, and we plan to do, we would, come back for talks. And that was 8 years ago. Last week, they started talks and everything seems positive. And the European market is highly lucrative. I would give you an example. In Nigeria, sometime in 2018, there was a ban on beans exports to the EU. And that's because of the type of pesticide used in beans cultivation, so to speak. And the EU clamped down, banned beans, and Nigeria came up with a plan. So we're going to have a plan by 2021, we should be exporting beans again. And there was a clear plan. But it turns out there's not been any follow-up. There's been no implementation. There's been no budgetary provisions for carrying out this exercise. So the EU have extended that ban. So they are very strict about their sanitary and phytosanitary standards. And the Kenyans were well aware of it and decided that, look, the self-imposed ban was the best way to go. And yeah, I mean, it's lifted. It's practically lifted as it is. So in the coming months, because this is the mango season in that part of the continent, they should be allowed entry into the very lucrative EU market, as opposed to, I mean, for the time being, they've been exporting to the Middle East, where the standards are less stringent, having to compete with people or the competitors from Egypt who have lower shipping costs to the Middle East. They have to contend with shipping costs that are about over three times higher. So that's really impeded the profitability. But now that the EU, obviously a higher price is an incentive for the farmers. So right. Yes, we'll see how that turns out.
Great stuff. I think they said there's a pest-free zone and hot water treatments that are supposed to somehow fix this. How is this going to work?
The pest-free zone, basically, it's two counties in Kenya. These started with 2 counties in Kenya, came together and said, okay, we're going to sensitize people on modern pest management techniques so that you have more modern equipment, funding, and pesticides that are acceptable globally. So they started with 2 counties. It's grown to more counties now. So within that region, they've implemented those techniques, and you have improved quantity, improved quality, so to speak. Then bring in the hot water treatment. Hot water treatment is used for mangoes globally. So yeah, you heat the water to about 46 degrees Celsius. You place mangoes, depending on the variant of mango, you put it there for about 10 minutes. It should flush out every fruit fly, because fruit fly is a major pest that mangoes face. You flush out every fruit fly for an average of 10 minutes, and then you cool it at a particular temperature for about 30 minutes. So all that equipment is provided within that zone. So it's a shared infrastructure, if you will. So it's a mango producing zone. We take all our mangoes, we take it through. I mean, it's produced in a certain way, and then we take it through that hot water process, and it's acceptable globally. So that was done, and the EU saw that's been done. So yeah, open up the markets to them.
Fruit flies. Didn't Kenya have a locust problem at one point? Kenya's got all the plagues flying through their country. How important is the EU, I guess, as a market to Kenya?
Yeah, I mean, it's the EU is important, not just to Kenya, but to African agri exports. For Kenya in particular, I mean, they have the US as a market, not just for agri products, for flowers. I mean, there are direct flights from Nairobi to New York, and every day they sell flowers. For the EU, obviously, it's the price. There's a minimum price for mangoes or fruits generally in the EU. So that every exporter has its eye on that market, and with the opening up of the market, it's incentive for any Kenyan producer to produce. Obviously, the demand from the Middle East, the Dubais and the Qatars and the Dohas of the world, that's there, but it's at a lower price and in higher shipping costs to that part of the world. But the EU is attractive, not just for agri products, but for everything, any product you can imagine.
Because it's such a large market. Let's move to M-PESA. What do you make of the decision to upgrade and allow businesses to advertise on the platform?
I mean, advertising, and if you look at it for any platform, for the Facebook, for the social media sites, it's free money because they harvest your data and they sell your data to advertisers. You could be on your phone, looking for houses in a certain region. Next thing you have
an ad follow. So
I just think it's natural progression. If you have that many people on the M-PESA platform, because M-PESA controls about 98% of the market in Kenya and Tanzania. It's about 50 million, just under 50 million customers, 15 billion transactions annually. It's no competition really in that part of the world. So I think it's a no-brainer. It's for any social media site. You have that many people on the platform. You advertise, people will see it. You have millions of people seeing it. They intend to test run it in South Africa because obviously you need phones with maybe 3-4G capability to view this advert. If you have your old 2G phones, obviously in parts of Kenya and Tanzania, you still have people with low incomes who can still access M-PESA, but not with an app, just via maybe an SMS code or something. As more and more people, as people get richer, people can afford these phones, then it becomes via an app. So it's being test run in South Africa, and if successful, will be deployed on a case-by-case basis across the continent, not just Kenya and Tanzania.
Real quick, is M-PESA, Safaricom the big winner because of the fees that they'll be making from all this advertising?
Obviously, I mean, there's the fees from the advertising. There's fees from the advertising, which I think it's not just Safaricom here. It's telcos across the continent. Recently, we had PSBs granted PSB licenses granted here, and it could even come to the point where it cannibalizes the banking system. Advertising is just one segment of the market. If you can get that many people on the platform, there's so much more you can do. Obviously, you advertise, if you pull funds together, you become a bank on your own. I mean, so yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's stuff that was going to happen eventually. So
natural progression.
That's what it is.
Nosike Nwajide, Senior Research Analyst at Financial Derivatives Company Limited. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate your insights.